What's up, everybody? It's a Hardy Construction. You can find us at hardyconstruction.tumblr.com, youtube.com/hardyconstruction, as well as facebook.com/the Hardy Construction with your host, Comp, and...
Metroid, when you find out that she's a girl.
And who didn't love that? I'm sure that set the male race back about 1,000 years, right? You know them kids? Those guys?
I used to pause Samus so I could try to see her butt.
Oh, I think, was she naked in the original one? Or in the
They
Japanese
show her.
one?
They show her in like
panties,
it's
right?
like a
In a bra?
reveal. If you get a perfect score in Super Metroid, it reveals that she's actually a girl, and it shows her in like a sort of sexy outfit.
Can you imagine like the inhumane male chauvinists back then in the 1980s? Like they play the game, they're like, God bless this game, I love it, and then as soon as it's a woman, they go, oh, and they're like, they
feel betrayed. They felt betrayed.
It's the Japanese equivalent of E.T. being buried in the middle of Area 51. They did that in Japan though, right in the middle of well, anyway, today's film is
Goodnight, Mommy.
Goodnight, Mommy says 2014, although I think it's getting released now or something. Maybe it was shot in 2014. Twin boys move to a new home with their mother after she has face-changing cosmetic surgery, but under the bandages is someone the children don't recognize. Directed by Severin Fiala and Veronica Franz. Stars Suzanne Wust, Lucas Schwartz, and Elias Schwartz.
It's cool that they got to play their real names, too. That must have made it easy.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe the kids are just really fantastic actors except for their names. They'd be like, all right, now you're Lucas. Who? Anyway.
It'd be confusing if they made them play the guy named Lucas, Elias.
They play opposite names. But, Mommy, I'm Lucas, and I'm Elias. Ooh.
And every time they'd mess up, someone would, whip them with, a branch or something.
But it's Germany, so who knows? They probably, hit their toes with, steel hammers and shit. Many erections.
Austria.
Oh, excuse me. That's where the great Arnold Schwarzenegger came from. So, Goodnight, Mommy, a film that I think has kind of been hitting the... it's getting a lot of buzz on the internet lately because the trailer for the film itself, a lot of people were buzzing about the trailer, saying, oh, the trailer itself is almost like a short film. It's horrifying.
I didn't even see it yet, actually.
Yeah, it's probably better because it probably spoiled all the best parts of the film. They were... Actually, I don't remember the grotesque stuff that happened in this film wasn't in the trailer, but... I think the worst part was the beetle going into the mouth. We will be spoiling this film.
Yeah, no, that really bothered. Yeah, this is, nobody should listen to our show if they haven't seen the movie.
No, I think people should just not listen to our show in general, but you know what? So, Goodnight, Mommy, the trailer, just kidding, we love you guys. But the trailer has been getting a big buzz for it, and it's getting a release soon, and people have been, raving about how horrifying the trailer is. What's the basic premise of the film, Danny?
It's pretty much as straightforward as it gets. It's a mom has reconstructive surgery, and
I think it's more plastic
boys...
surgery, but you might be, that's what I was thinking as well.
Okay. I'm not sure if the accident that they reveal at the end is related to her surgery.
Right.
It might be. But in any case, her face is wrapped in bandages, and they're convinced. The two boys are convinced that it's not their real mom that came back because she's acting very different than she's used to.
So about the first 75% of this film, I would put it in the league of funny games in a way that it's more.
It's very brainy.
It
makes you feel creepy.
I mean, I figured out what was going on 3 minutes into the movie just by what.
I actually
happened.
I had no idea,
Really?
And it's like a classic. It's like a classic twist that I guess I just wasn't expecting, but it worked. I mean,
really? So it worked for you? Did you go oh, when it happened?
No, I mean, I was kind of like, oh, okay, they're doing a Sixth Sense type of shit. But I mean, in any case, the movie is still a good movie.
It's a twist that's been employed in a lot of things recently. Well, Dexter for one. That's one of the. I won't spoil another show that's just done that because it's a show that I won't even say the name of the show because it's a show that I've told a lot of my friends to watch, but I won't say the name of it. But it's a recent show that's pretty getting a lot of rave reviews, and it pulls the same thing. Which, to me, there's leagues of films where they have a twist that it's almost like, oh, why would any other movie try to do this or TV show try to use this twist? Which is Fight Club. Which sort of has this semi... It's only in theory that it shares in Fight Club that it's a quasi... it's a dead person or a person that's not existing that the main character is speaking to throughout the whole film. And I figured this out about 1 minute into their conversation with the mother, when the mother goes, I'm not. Why aren't you talking to Lucas, or who's I guess the dead brother?
She's talking to Elias.
Yeah, because I didn't even know, they didn't even say Elias's name until like an hour or something into the film. So you just hear Lucas throughout the whole beginning. There's these long takes. It's a very beautiful looking film. It's very sweeping. But a lot of it could have been cut down because it's a lot of it is kids just playing around and gorgeous cinematography, which I don't think.
I don't know. I didn't mind it. Like, I know it was very slow moving and dragged out, but like every moment of it, I was like totally into it.
Okay, so you enjoyed this film. I didn't hate the film, but let's get into it a little bit. So how does this film start out, Danny?
How does it start out? I guess the mom comes home and her face is all wrapped up ridiculously. Mm-hmm. And she closes the blinds, and it's kind of like automatically creepy. And then there's like a picture of someone closing the blinds, like on the picture, which was a really strange scene. And then they reference that other picture of the kid holding the candle. When he's holding the candle, he's like doing it exactly like the picture. Like, I don't know if there was like anything behind that, but it was.
Maybe that's the only memory that Elias has of his brother Lucas. So these two kids live with their mother. I guess their parents had a divorce after said accident, which I think killed Lucas. And the mother says it's not your fault. So I think maybe I don't know if the beginning is a flashback or is actually just maybe the beginning is a flashback and we don't know about it because remember the kid is drowning or something. That's what I was thinking maybe. Because one kid is on a raft in the middle of this lake. It's very beautiful. Can you imagine?
I gotta
being that
rewatch
rich?
The movie.
Can you imagine how beautiful it must be to live rich in this Austrian area in that nice house?
Right. Hey, maybe you don't have to be rich to have something like that in Austria. Well, I mean, although the Red Cross people do say that, look how wealthy the house is. So,
but there are these opening sequences, these long takes of these kids just playing around in the, in the forest and this. That goofy land that's like, I guess there's a lot of water under that land, so that's why they were able to jump on this bedrock or this dirt.
I was looking at that. That was awesome looking.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's like when a lot of water seeps underneath the earth, but you can't necessarily break the earth on it. And there is a sequence which I'm thinking now is when maybe the brother had died underwater or something, because the brother Elias is always saying Lucas, like every 3 seconds in the opening. And I'm thinking the kid drowns at the beginning and it just kind of continues from there on. Or it might have just been him talking to himself the whole time at the beginning, and then it's been a long time since, because I think in the photographs where they show the brothers, they're about the same age that they are now. So maybe it's been a year.
Yeah,
or it's been a couple.
It feels like it was very recent,
So it's very recent that I believe that the parents had a divorce, and the mother has put the house up for sale. I figured it out that the kid wasn't alive once, they said, why, the mother, responds to the kid, why do I, said only one plate for dinner, and I'm like, oh boy, is this the kid? And to me, I'm looking at it a different way. You know me.
I took it as this woman is like being really weird and mean to one son.
Yeah, she was being a pretty horrible person at the beginning of this film. You would think that if your son lost his twin brother, you would be a little bit more, walking on eggshells around him.
She definitely paid for it, so
okay. The mother's walking around, and it's a pretty neat character design, even though it probably is like basically how people look like after they get heavy cosmetic surgery. And I guess she is a television personality, because the kids reference this. She must be a TV personality. Maybe she's, we can only make up
she
why.
Sings, so maybe she's like a singer or something, because she does sing to her kids.
Yeah, I think she's a host of a TV show. That she's like a program host who think about like Extra or something like that. Those TV shows or Entertainment Tonight. Now, that's what I'm thinking more of. And although her phone's not ringing a lot in this movie, and so the kids start to suspect a lot of things that this might not be their mother. First of all, because she's wearing this heavily bandaged face, and she's.
It is a crazy concept, though. I don't know. It did a good job of capturing how scary being a little kid is when you get shit like that in your head.
Yeah, it's a great concept. So I think they could have shaved off a couple of minutes of this film and kept that going, because I think a lot of it was just padding out of the kids having an adventure, which I don't think really plotted the film well. But I think the movie to me is suffering because I knew what was going on into it, and I didn't feel that the movie was dishonest by doing that to me. I was still entertained by it, not as much as I thought I would be, because I figured the last 15% of the film where the torture is going on. I thought that was going to be the whole film. I was almost picturing like Misery or something of that.
I
angle.
had no idea it was going there. I guess I just went in like with no thoughts. Like I didn't
Right.
know what the hell this movie is about at all.
Yeah,
so.
because I saw the trailer, so I kind of had an idea. I didn't think it was going to get as graphic as it was, just watching how the film was. But these European films, they get pretty graphic. How would you describe the mother's acting in this film, who is played by Suzanne Wust?
She's like perfectly like acting like she might not actually be the real mom, like you could believe it if you're picturing it from the kid's perspective. Like yeah, she's like definitely like right on the like edge of being like maybe an imposter or some kind of evil person, but then you realize what it is. And I really want to watch the movie again though.
There's some stuff that what I don't understand is like she could have just easily said call your father. I think that would have probably handled
is the father
the whole
alive?
situation.
Are you sure he's divorced?
Well, yeah,
did they say
because
divorce?
she says specifically when your dad. She didn't say your dad's dead, or she talked about him in present tense, the father. So it was her saying it, not the kid saying it. Unless I'm completely wrong, but she could have easily have said, call your father up, have him come down here, stuff like that, so he can see what's going on. The kids might not believe it's him. Because her facial features are changed because of the cosmetic surgery. And I'm still going that it's cosmetic surgery. I thought it might have been some kind of cataclysmic accident that broke up this family, but I'm assuming it's that drowning thing in the beginning, or it was just something else that happened between the brothers.
That makes sense.
Because
I didn't even remember that part.
The two kids are pretty adventurous, and they're running around in this large field. She could have just done that. So it's kind of like, why didn't you just do that? But anyway, the kids more and more in the film start questioning what's going on. They see that the house is up for sale, and their mother's sort of this bitter woman, and I don't know whether she didn't have this attitude before she had the facial surgery. Maybe because I'm sure she works in this sort of field. I mean, I think it would probably be normal.
Well, she gave them like a little goodbye before getting the surgery, which was like all nice and
I'm thinking that they were staying with the father while she was getting surgery.
What's a weird thing is like, so I have like this dog, Bertha, and she used to be like very friendly to other people, and then she got spayed, and all of a sudden she's like scared of people. Like she's never been beaten or anything. She's just like, after getting spayed, she got like all fucked up in the head, and now she's like scared of people, and like
that was probably the trauma. Yeah, that was probably the trauma of the surgery itself.
I mean, she still likes people, but she will only go up to people that she like knows really well now, like basically like my family, and that's about it. But yeah, maybe that could happen to humans too. Like they get surgery and they get like fucked in the head or something.
Yeah. I think it's because a lot of things are not specifically said in the film, and you kind of have to put them together yourself. So stuff like you can only assume what half of the story is because they never say what the accident is. They don't say the relationship where the father lives. I assume they divorced because the mother says that. Things like that, like Lucas and Elias is like, how long have they been away? It really isn't like very explanatory about what happened behind the scenes. So you have to put the whole movie together. But the kids,
that's good though. It keeps the mystery going. Yeah.
So how would you describe the kids' relationship with each other, the two brothers?
So sexy. I just kept wanting them to make out the whole time.
That's fabulous. So what did you really think?
No, they were good. They were really good together, and I mean, they're real brothers, so you could tell that they probably got along really well in real life too. And
what's funny is that
very realistic as brothers.
Even though the part where the kids, they cut open there's like two dream sequences that are pretty like dark, and I figured there were dream sequences as soon as I saw them. Well, the first one I didn't expect. When the mother walks into the forest nude, and her head starts shaking like Jacob's ladder. I was like, well, I guess she's not human. But then it was a dream sequence, and then the second dream sequence, I pretty much figured when they were cutting open the belly and all those beetles were coming out. And it was funny. None of that frightened me, but the part when they went to the priest, because I was like in my head instinctively, I thought the priest was going to try to fuck those kids. That's an American problem, I guess. Anyway, so
no, it happens in Italy too. I mean,
I guess so. You're
right. The church covers it up.
Also, did you know there's a trailer for Jeepers Creepers 3? Just so you know.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
You know who that is, right? The director of that, who made Clown House.
Yeah.
Kid fuckers. Yeah, go support them. Anyway, so what's the latter half of this film like, Danny?
it's pretty creepy. It's the mom being tied up, and the boy is just kind of like interrogating her and saying she's not the real mom, but she could make more of an effort, I think, to get out of it, like you said. But
because I think if you had seen this, because like she's obviously only answering Elias when he's speaking to her. Like Lucas will say stuff twice, and then Elias says it, and then she'll reply. So we're watching the film with Lucas's character involved, even though he's not necessarily there. So God knows what she's thinking. This is her kid, who she loves. And
but is he there? Maybe maybe he really is a ghost.
I guess it could be. I mean, we
don't know he's crazy. It could be like a real ghost.
There's some pretty horrifying, Hostel-esque things of torture. Not Hostel-esque like to that level, but the part where they're using the magnifying glass to burn a hole in her cheek. I don't know whether that was to make her have another beauty mark like she had originally, or it was just to torture her. I guess it was two things in one. The part when they what were they doing to her mouth? Were they like splinting her mouth open or something?
Oh, that scene. Yeah, it looked like they were putting a piece of wood in her mouth.
Yeah,
or
I couldn't tell because then her mouth was closed the next shot, so I had no idea what was going on in the scene. Maybe they were just torturing her for not getting the answer.
But the fucking crazy glue part, with the lips, I hated it.
These Austrian kids, they're pretty efficient in torturing people. Boy, I wonder what happened. I wonder where that comes from. Anyway, how pushy is the Red Cross? Could you imagine the Red Cross
that was
walks
annoying
into
me.
your fucking house?
I was thinking, are people really like that in Austria, or is this just, these two people? I don't know, maybe people do shit like that.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, so door's open, maybe someone's home, and then just walking around, and they're just like, we'll wait for your mother. Oh, but get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Yeah, I wish I was able to insert myself in the film. I wouldn't even insert myself to help the mother. I would just be like, if this was my house, I would insert myself. Get the fuck out of here! What are you doing? Oof! Don't you want to donate some money to the Red Cross? Get the fuck out of here!
And then they take the money from a little kid.
Yeah, the old man is like, oh, look at this house. They can't afford it. I would have been, get out of here! And then I would have took all their money and kicked them right in the ass. Could you imagine somebody walking into that part upset me more than the whole movie.
It's pretty rude, actually. It was, I was getting very annoyed at them.
It's so funny when that's more offensive to me than the kids manhandling their mother. This movie also will make you reflect on your relationship with your mom. So I love my mom. Do you love your mom?
I do love my mom.
Oh, this made me sad. This movie because these kids didn't know what they were doing.
Although I used to get it in my head that people were possessed by demons and shit as a little kid. I used to scare myself, for real. So it's very easy.
Somebody needs some therapy here. So they super glue the mom's mouth. They super glue her eye closed. Holy shit, was that disturbing to watch.
I hated it.
When they had to cut that was a very tense scene when they're cutting the super glue out of her mouth and they nick her lip and it just keeps bleeding. It's a fucked up movie. Everybody's a really good actor in this film. The kids
I was not expecting it to go that way, at all.
Yeah, I was actually expecting it to go that way earlier, but I didn't expect it to get that gory. I thought because the way the film looks so pretty and it looks a little bit higher.
They're really good actors, like you just said.
No, everybody's good because it's only really 3 actors besides
little kids usually aren't that good. As what's your favorite quote? Oh, this is pod racing.
This is pod racing. And now, I think it's because maybe the kids were a little bit way more relaxed into the roles because they are brothers, and it's probably fun play acting because we all play act when we're kids. But I'm sure we were all terrible actors except for these 2 kids. And,
I'm a terrible actor even as an adult. I wonder if they actually got to know the mom really well, because it's it'd be better almost if they didn't, she was a stranger,
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was, because the kid, obviously, Elias is Looney Tunes, and his brother's dead.
Or he's seeing a real ghost. We don't know.
No, I don't think it's a ghost. I think the kid's fucking nuts, because regardless of whether the kid was seeing a ghost or not, he killed his mom, who he thought wasn't a real person. She had a birthmark. I don't. Oh, that's right. She had it removed. That's why, right? Remember? Is that why he said that? But then wouldn't he?
Yeah, and then she guessed his favorite song, and I guess
it was wrong.
She guessed wrong, or maybe I don't know. We didn't get an answer on that.
Wait, did they ask her? Did they ask to see the birthmark when she had the mask on? Maybe that's why they asked. Okay, because if they had her face, then it would have made sense. Yeah, I mean, and especially what happens to the mother at the end, they basically fry her to death, and it's a pretty frightening, it's really horrifying sort of ending in
My
the
whole
film.
body like knotted up at that part.
Yeah,
like,
because it was
really
like, it's very graphic. And then at the finale, they walk hand in hand with their mother, and it's obviously Elias by himself, unless she's a ghost too, right, Danny? I don't know. But
Shut up.
all in all, I think I think it's an interesting film. It's very similar to another film that we're going to be reviewing soon. So it was basically like if I just saw a remake of a film I just saw. But I think it's an entertaining film. I think because of the fact that I saw what was coming in ahead of time, I was like, all right, so I kind of watched it that way. I saw it as him.
I'm glad I
to
didn't
his
watch
brother.
the trailer, or know anything about it.
Obviously, if you're listening to this episode, you've been spoiled, so don't bother worried about being spoiled because you know what it is now. But I think it's an entertaining film. I kind of saw everything going ahead of time, but it didn't take away from the experience. That doesn't mean I would give it a higher rating than I usually would, but it's really nicely filmed. I think they shot it in 35 millimeter apparently, and the after credits, that's what it says. It looks good. It's paced a little bit slow. That's what you would kind of expect in this type of film, but this film sort of plays out more of a Eastern European highbrow sort of film. Like it's really
it looks very artsy-fartsy.
Yeah, it's very artsy-fartsy without being artsy-fartsy. Like, it's artsy-fartsy in the parts where the kids are running around in the wilderness.
And there's almost no music, also, which is something interesting about it.
Right, when the kids are left to their own devices, it sort of takes on that fairy tale-esque approach of youth. You know what I mean? These kids just having fun by themselves. So that's where it gets artsy. But whenever it's in the house, it has like a feeling of menace, which I think works for the movie. So I didn't necessarily take anything. I didn't think anything bad about the film. Like, there's nothing bad about the film besides, I think, dragging on certain sequences. But it's not.
And the ending's a bit.
It's not necessarily
cliche,
a bad thing. I would give this film a 6 out of 10. I know that seems like a low number, but it's not really. It's an entertaining film.
Like a low number.
Huh?
That does seem low, but go on.
It's a 6 out of 10. I think it's probably a 6 out of 10 for me because I saw what was happening ahead of time, and I've seen this bit happen plenty of times this year. The twist. Right. 6 out of 10. Waiting for the Red Cross people to get the fuck out, so you give them some money.
You have to pay them off to leave your fucking house.
Can you imagine? That pissed me off.
So rude. They were good actors at being obnoxious as fuck though. Okay, I'm gonna give this I really liked it. I'm gonna give it like an 8 out of 10. Trying to carefully remove super glue seal from your mom's lips and cutting her lips off instead.
So with that, Danny, what's the final word?
Nintendo 64.
The horror deconstruction.